Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Bill Warner. I'm with EntreDot, as you well know. This is, again, Monday Night Live with EntreDot, 7 p.m. on Monday night. Welcome. Glad to be with you this evening. I think I've got an interesting subject to talk to you about tonight. I call it positioning perfection. Now, what the heck does that mean? Positioning, first of all, is bringing clarity in the eyes of your potential customers to what you do, what your purpose is, what you're going to deliver to them. What need are you fulfilling or opportunity are you chasing? It's all about you. And you're positioning yourself in a very specific way in a market based on your identity, what you are, and your purpose. It's that simple. What we're talking about tonight is how to perfect further your positioning in the market you intend to go after. So, things that don't feel right now, perhaps, in your positioning. First of all, how do you know things aren't going well? Well, quite frankly, you feel it. Things don't seem right. They don't feel right. Things aren't clicking. I feel confusion going on with people who are reading our messaging or going to our website. Our customers reacting in some way I don't understand. Now, how do you recognize this? So, evidence of this is like when you're confronted with a discussion of a new prospect. They have many questions to ask you. And after the third or fourth question, you discover, so, oh, wait a minute, my website covered the answer to these questions. I told them right on the home page what I do. So I don't understand why they're asking me this, but you don't say anything. You answer their question, but it doesn't strike you right. It doesn't feel right. You may even discover further evidence that prospects don't really get what you do. Again, by the questions they ask or how they react to what you're telling them about what you do, and they seem to be confused, and you feel like you're correcting a misconception that they have. Now, how did that get created in the first place? Well, nobody else probably told them what you do. I mean, it's right there on your website or other marketing material. Sometimes you get prospects and you wonder, why are they here? For some reason, they went to your website, took your call to action, and came, and now they're looking for something that you don't even provide. Or they have issues that they think that you can resolve for them. Or if you're in a nonprofit, they think you have some sort of social cause, social purpose that is just totally wrong. And then you spend too much time re-explaining to them, if you take the time to do that. Sometimes it's so obviously misconnected, you just end the conversation early on. So things are sluggish. They're not clicking. You're not getting the reaction that you hoped for in the visitors to your site, or the readers of your materials, or the readers of your blogs, or the responders to your posts, and on and on and on. Just, it's like I'm talking one language and they're understanding it very differently. There's a message that you have imperfection in your positioning. Imperfection. So what it means, and maybe a little more clear language, is your positioning lacks clarity. And thus you have poor positioning, poor messaging, poor identity, a poorly explained purpose for being in the business that you're in. People just aren't getting it. Recognize that. Don't get mad, get disappointed if you want, but get an attitude whereby you're going to go do something about this, because this can't continue. You need a strong identity. They need to understand your purpose as a business. They need to know that there are specific needs that you're fulfilling. So you got to clear this up. So if you're solving a problem, a business problem for a potential customer, they need to know pretty concisely the problems you solve and what your solution is for it. If that's not what you're all about, you're bringing some brand new product to market nobody's ever seen before because you think it's a great new opportunity. You need to kind of explain that. Why should you be interested in this new product innovation that I've got? If you're a nonprofit, you've got to get across the cause that you're serving. So these are all needs that you are trying to fulfill, but you've got to communicate concisely, succinctly, clearly what the heck it is. And when we use the term messaging, what we mean by that is the words you put on that homepage or at the first paragraph in some marketing material or case study or something that gets across very quickly what you're all about. I read last week, I think it's probably somewhere in this ballpark, but if a visitor to your site doesn't, within 8 seconds, this is 9 or 7, I don't know, but within less than 10 seconds, they're not getting what the heck it is you're talking about, or you haven't said something that resonates with them, they're gone. Probably never to be seen again. You may have lost a potential customer. So that's kind of an introduction to this subject of perfect positioning. So what do you do if you have imperfect messaging, imperfect positioning? So let's first answer, why should I do anything? What benefit is there going to be to me? I mean, this is kind of the way it is. Things are sluggish. Maybe that's the way this market is. Why should I do anything? Possible benefits got to go like this. If your clarity was greatly improved in your positioning, in your messaging, in your purpose, description of these things, you may get higher quality prospects to sell to because you've been more clear. It's more clear to them. They get it. They respond. If your messaging is a pile of mush and so broad they can't find themselves in your soup, they'll leave. You should get more referrals. That someone goes to your site, is impressed, knows what your focus is, it's clear to them, but they're not ready to do any business with you. You're hoping that they remember it. So if your messaging was memorable, kind of catchy, and would stick in their brains more than the 8 seconds that it took them to absorb it in the first place, but for days, if it's so memorable, they might say it to others. They may repost something that you said on Facebook or LinkedIn. They might literally post something on their timeline or in their account on LinkedIn about your business, about something they learned about it because it was so striking. You want those kinds of things to happen, don't you? So when good things happen, guess what else happens? You feel better. Your self-confidence goes up. Things are happening in a positive way. That fog and imperfection and lack of clarity has gone away. You become much more focused. Quite frankly, it was a necessity for you to become more focused. And when you do, and what I mean by that is that instead of portraying yourself as you solve all these problems for all these different constituencies in your market, it's broad as a barn, taller than the Eiffel Tower. It is complete. It covers everything. It is a fog of information. It's so much information that I think after reading 2 or 3 or 4 of your messages, 3 or 4 of 25, you show me right there on the homepage and make me trod my way through it, I conclude you're unfocused and I leave. And that's what others will do. You should do the exact opposite. Out of the 25 possible things you could do for people, pick the top 3 or 4, maybe 5, not much more than that, getting, that are most important, that are going to bring you the most business. You're going to address most needs, the most compelling needs that your prospective customers have in your market. So these 25 get narrowed down into a very specialized niche. You've heard that before. What's your niche? Or niche, however people say it these days. Now, it may sound like I have just limited your possibilities for possible customers because you have excluded out of the 25, 20 of them. 20 reasons why, and they don't know that I can do those 20 things. They only know these 5. Well, first of all, they're the 5 most important, that a large percentage, greater than half, of the possible prospects you might find through your marketing, outbound marketing, will resonate with, because they're in that large pot of people that have the issue that you're talking about. And you've made it so simple for them to understand by talking about these 5 things that they readily get that, oh, they understand me. I'm going to take the next step, take the call to action and find out more. You got them. And you didn't have to inundate them with a basket full of messages. You got really, really focused. Focused in the world of positioning and marketing really matters. If you're the exact opposite, you can't give up. I need to talk about these 25 things because I don't want to miss a single opportunity. If I've heard that once, I've heard it 100,000 times. It is just wrong-headed thinking. You want to get the highest and best uses of your solution, the highest and best set of issues that you solve, or the highest needs that you fulfill, and major on them, focus on them. Doesn't mean you can't talk about the rest, but later, when I'm first confronting a potential customers, I want to hit them with my 5 best shots and get their attention. And if I got it, later on, when they ask me about other things I might be able to do for them, I'll pull out 3 or 4 more out of the other 20 that I didn't talk about. So you narrow this down, focus it, package it tightly, and throw it out into the internet space with your positioning and messaging. You'll get more prospects this way in aggregate. I should say it this way, more prospects that matter, as opposed to a pile of prospects that are actually confused and don't know exactly what you do, that you might fulfill a need for them. But what you've done is hit them in their sweet spot. You've heard that term in marketing. You hit a bunch of prospects with very clear and concise words about what you can do for them in solving the issues that they have. And you'll get recognition that you understand their biggest needs. So in absolute number of leads, it'll probably be smaller. In absolute quality of the leads, it'll be tremendously bigger. You'll get leads that are more likely to buy. That's the benefit of creating this identity that people will resonate with when they see your positioning or understand your positioning, mainly from your website. So, okay, I want those benefits. I'm sure you're saying that. Tell me, Bill, what do I need to do? So here we go. Yeah, you got to punt. Go back to the basics. Let's assess what the heck is going on here. You need to talk to several constituencies: current customers, partners, channel partners, your marketing team, marketing professionals, your sales team and sales professionals not in your company, people who give you referrals. These are groups of people that you can meet with if you pull them together. Not 20, 25 of them, 3, 4, 5. You're going to get them in a room. And you're going to ask them questions that help you understand how they might be thinking about your positioning. And you're going to ask these questions without a whole lot of introductory stuff about what you're trying to do. You're simply trying to get their reaction to certain questions that you ask them about your business. So let's take a few examples. So people who have given you referrals in the past, and you talk to them, maybe you talk to them one by one, and ask them, why did they give you a referral? You can ask them, what is your understanding of our purpose as a company? What is your understanding about our messaging and the importance of them? What is your understanding about our value proposition? You don't give them homework to do ahead of time, read our site and understand our message. No, you surprise them with this because you want an immediate, off the top of their head reaction to these questions, and you're going to get some answers that are going to inform you. If they answer these questions correctly and that they really do understand your messaging, they really do understand your purpose, man, that's going to be good news. If you're uncomfortable with how things are going, no, you're not going to get answers like that. You're going to get a garbled set of answers. If you ask 5, current referral agents, people who refer you to others, kind of your advocates in certain ways, if you get many different answers, you got evidence that there is trouble here in River City. That your messaging and the people that have been closest to you and giving you new business really don't understand what your value proposition is, or don't understand your messaging, or think you're addressing a market that you don't even address. One interesting thing about people that know you well, if they don't know something about you, they'll make it up. Oh, this is logical, so I'll say this. It could be dead wrong. So you may discover you've not gotten through to these people, and the referrals that they've been giving, maybe many of them have failed because they didn't portray your purpose properly. So you therefore find that your messaging is not well understood, at least by them. Now you can do this across others as well, the marketing team, the sales team, even your own people that work for you and are out there marketing and selling. See if they get it right. Boy, if they don't, you got a serious communication problem inside your company. You want to maybe test the clarity of your website. Remember I said you got to boil this down into those 5 messages, blah, blah, blah. I said maybe 8 minutes ago. Well, ask, let's say, 5 potential customers, people that they're leads, and then you're starting to work with. Ask them, hey, what impressed you the most about the messaging on our website? What really rang true with you? Then shut up and listen. See what they say. So ask questions. What did our website tell you as to the market segment that we address? And are you in that market segment? Is that why you're here? See where I'm headed? You're testing what you think you told them and everybody else that went to your website. You've asked them what was their interpretation of what you wrote on that website, the messages you put there, and see what answers you get. If you get confusing answers, ones that are just absolutely wrong, again, you've got a serious messaging problem, and you got to rewrite. This one is easy to spot. I see websites every day. The people I help, I give them a review of their website. I'll tell you, 8 out of 10 times, their messaging and the homepage is a bunch of, here's what I do for you. We got this, we got that. Yeah, isn't this wonderful? Look at a picture of it. Da, 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 da. Never once did they say, here's the problem we solve. If you have this issue, we deliver this that resolves it. It's all about them, the company, not them, the customer. That's a pretty classic error that 8 out of 10 companies make on their first website. You could ask current customers questions about the services that you perform. What made you select services 1, 2, and 3? Why were they right for you? What was there about our messaging that told you that we could help you solve these top 3 issues that you have? Things like that. Liken back to what you said on the website to what they now have bought and how they got there. What they bought and what you're delivering to them may be one of those 20 things that you didn't talk about on your homepage. Somehow they learned about it. Well, how did they learn? Well, probably occurred during the marketing qualification process. So these are, I could go on and on with other examples here, but these are examples of ways you can find out how the communication of your positioning has been dealt with by people who read it and depend upon it and actually act upon it. If there's a major mismatch, keep asking these questions, writing down the mismatches, and then do something about it by rewriting your marketing collateral, rewriting your website, retraining your marketing qualification people, retraining your sales people, anything that's necessary to clear up what is amounting to be a mess. So that's the assessment. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? And you can do this. It seems pretty brain dead simple, but you can do this, and it's important that you do. So how do you fix it? Well, it's pretty obvious to you, isn't it? You change your messaging. You re-identify yourself and who your ideal customers are. Narrowly. Remember the 5 versus 25 thing? Narrowly. Define your niche. Have clarity, brevity, conciseness about how you portray your value and in the messaging that you have on all of these places, websites and other collateral. And be clear about the specific needs that you could fulfill. And a few of them, narrowly focused. The sweet spot, all of these terms, they are serious terms, abide by them. So paint the picture of their challenges that you can deal with, their needs that you can satisfy, and then how you'll do it. But this positioning, by the way, is certainly of all of what you can do, but it's in the context of what they need. You've got to get them to acknowledge, in reading your material, that you understand their need. And you do it in a very few words. This takes a little bit of talent and wordsmithing for you to accomplish. So stick to it and verify and change it further as needed. So you do it by asking. Now, we've gone 25 minutes now, and I think that's about enough. I've punished you enough, but after you've done this assessment, you make these changes, you put it up on your website, redeliver, retrain, whatever you've got to do, and then see how it goes. Are you still uncomfortable? Are things changing? You'll feel it. You'll get more leads, you'll get more referrals. you get more validation that they now understand what you can deliver to them and that you understand their needs. Once you get more positive answers to these questions, because you got to go back and ask them again. Once you've had your new information up on your website and in your collateral, 3 months later, ask them these very same questions again. See what answers you get. Hopefully, it's better, a whole lot better. So retest it. Okay, that's, what did I call this? Positioning perfection. And it does matter. Being in business is more about relating to your potential customers than having a really sexy product. You need all of that, but equally, show that you understand your customers and that you're delivering something that really does meet their needs. Hope that helps. I do see I have one question, and actually it's what I anticipated. Well, what if I don't know how to do this, is the nature of this question. Well, that's quite possible. If you get yourself in this mess in the first place, there's a good chance you don't. There are marketing professionals that do know how to do this and can assess your positioning and do this assessment with these very same people. In fact, it might be a good idea, an impartial person rather than you, the head of the company, grilling these people, thinking they're going to get fired any second now when they give you bad answers. So having an outside party do it for you might be a really good idea. So consider that. It'll take some money. Think a few $1,000s if you have some consultant do this kind of work for you. So that's my answer to that. That's it for the questions. We have other people on the line. If you have questions tomorrow, I'm going to rerun this tomorrow morning. The other people will be able to see it. Go through it again, but I also post it on Facebook and LinkedIn so you can take a look at it. But this is a very serious undertaking that you need to correct if your messaging is gobbledygook. Again, I'm Bill Warner with EntreDot with that happy message for you. Have a great evening. Good night.